Hey guys, my name is Haydn and welcome to my channel. In this video we'll be reviewing the Grokking Algorithm book. I'll be letting you know my thoughts on it, who I think the book's suited for, who I think should avoid it, and a pros and cons list at the end. So let's just jump into it. So a quick overview of this book. This is a book that explains common software development algorithms in a way that avoids dry textbook-like content. It uses hand-drawn images by the author in order to explain points and even real-world examples for you to materialize that information in your head. It goes through popular algorithms like binary search, sorting, hash sets, trees, Dijkstra's. I'll put a full list of chapters here. All the chapters give a brief introduction to the concept, gives you kind of a real world example to use, information and graphics on that as well. So take for example binary search, it will explain to you why you would use binary search and then gives you an example using two people trying to guess each other's numbers. So you have one person that's trying to say, hey, guess my number between 1 and 100, and the other person uses binary search in order to guess it. So it helps you really kind of understand the concept, which for kinesthetic learners makes grasping these concepts a lot easier than kind of your normal dry textbook and lecture style content. This leads me perfectly onto who I think this book is for. So on the actual front cover it says an illustrated guide for programmers and other curious people, which is very true because if you've ever sat in a software development interview or gone through that process, you'll know that they will ask you algorithm related questions. So this book is a really good book for helping you kind of understand those concepts. So this book is obviously mainly for programmers, but I would also say it's probably mainly directed for people that have not really seen algorithms before or are struggling to kind of understand the concept of what the algorithms are. I say this because as someone who's kind of seen these algorithms before, I found that the book was slightly of an introduction to the algorithms rather than anything more detailed. This doesn't mean that the book is bad, it actually explains them very well and uses great graphics and examples in order to explain the algorithms, but it just gives you an introduction to what the algorithm is, but it doesn't really go for a deep dive into the concept, which is fine because that is not what it's marketing itself as. So yeah, let me just try and find you a good example of some of the diagrams. So as you can see here, it's kind of showing you recursion about, you know, you have a box and you've got more boxes in that box and you're going kind of deeper into this loop is just kind of one example. Another example here would be introduction to graphs, where you're saying, right, I'm in San Francisco and I want to get to Twin Peaks and I'm going to try and use and this graphic down here is kind of a bus route. So I'm starting here, I get the 42 bus and then I get the 21 bus and then eventually I arrive at my destination. It kind of gives you these like real world examples, which I think is really good. And there's loads more. I mean, every page has just got nice graphics and tables and charts on them. So the reason why I bought this book is because I was interviewing for a new role and I wanted a different source of information rather than like internet searches, videos and kind of grinding leak code problems in order to help me understand the algorithms that I would be asked in interview questions. When I finished the book, I was really happy with it. I thought it was really good, well laid out, good content in there, but I did find it was kind of more confirming my understanding of the algorithms rather than teaching me anything new and deeper about them, which again is fine because it's not really marketing itself as a, you know, let's go from zero to expert. It is a introduction to kind of algorithms. So this would be something to bear in mind if you were thinking about buying this book. If you are someone who has had experience with algorithms before or even kind of know what they are, this might not be the right book for you because I think you might find that it doesn't deepen your knowledge anymore. But on the other hand, if you have seen the algorithms before and you're kind of struggling to understand them and you do need kind of would prefer kind of real world examples or some nice graphics to look at in order to help you understand the content, then I think this would be a really good book for you. So let's move on to the pros and cons of the book. Now, so pros, this is a great introduction to algorithms for beginners. It explains it in non-computer science terms, so it explains it in just plain English. It uses some real good real-world examples and also some great diagrams in order to back up those examples. So for example, if you were giving this to someone like a kid, they would also understand it, and similarly someone who's a professional software developer would also kind of grasp these concepts. It's very engaging and it's not really like a dry textbook that you normally get. It is really good. I find the chapters are quite small and concise, so sometimes you buy a book and the chapters take you 45 minutes to an hour to read because they're, you know, 100 pages for example, whereas these chapters are kind of nice 15-minute little chunks, so you can either get them in before work, during a lunch break, after work. You know, you don't really have to set aside too much time in order to power through those chapters. This would be really good for someone starting out in computer science, so if you want to get more understanding of algorithms, then really good book for you to to kind of just like dip your toe into them. The last chapter actually gives you kind of where to go next, so it gives you a teaser of some other kind of popular algorithms and different computer science concepts for you to broaden your knowledge if you are curious. I mean, it says for curious people on the title of the book. Yeah, and it gives you a good foundation to move on from. So there's some pros for you. On the other hand, here are a couple cons. So I would say this book is slightly basic if you are wanting to deepen your knowledge. I would say if you're looking for a book that's really deep and going to give you all the ins and outs of binary search, for example, probably isn't the book for you. This is more of a introduction to the algorithms rather than a real deep dive into them. I don't know if I'd really classify this as a con, this is more just my opinion, but there's a chapter at the end that starts going into kind of machine learning and stuff like this, which is fine, I guess, because algorithms are part of that, but it just seemed a bit random for me. Again, that's just my opinion. You might think differently when you have the book. Cool, so there we go. There's some pros, there's some cons. I'll have them up here hopefully so you can all see them. I'll put them in the description as well so you guys can read them there if you don't want to hear me explain them. I'll leave an Amazon link as well down there so you guys can pick up the book if you would like. I really did enjoy reading the book. It was a real kind of nice, just bedside table read, you know, waking up in the morning, reading a chapter and getting on with your day. I would recommend it to people starting out in computer science. If you're a bit more experienced, I don't think you'll be as happy with the book if that is you. You'll just find that it only really scratches the surface rather than diving deep. Please give this video a like if you enjoyed it, comment down below if you want me to answer any questions about the book, and subscribe because I have more kind of software related videos on my channel, so do check them out. Hope you enjoyed this book review and have a great day everyone.